tonight. Hello, everyone. Welcome to ZinoNation. This is ZinoNation versus FimiNation. This is episode 9. Our guest tonight is Duran, who we're waiting on, but we're going to move it on. We got a lot to talk about tonight, and I'm going to throw it over to my regular co-host, Marcus Crawford from the Idaho Quadcopter channel.
Hey, everybody. So, welcome to the show tonight. I'm back in Idaho this week. I was in Las Vegas last week, and we are looking forward to having Al on the show tonight. I just finished watching his video where he compared the Fimi X8 with the Hubsan Zino. I thought he did a great job. He took them out to range and did some pretty cool stuff with them. So we got plenty of things a lot of things we can talk about this evening.
Thank you, Marcus. I think we're going to lead with the story that just broke a couple hours ago. It's from Drone DJ. I shared it on the ZinoNation Facebook page. The story concerns DJI and the ongoing allegations of their drones sending information back to China, or I mean, again, this is allegations. There hasn't been any actual findings of this actually happening. But what their plans are is they're going to move production. They're going to try to move production of 60% of the Mavic enterprise drones to California to skirt around the issue of spying. I don't know. I guess maybe somebody inspects them there to make sure they don't put the spy equipment. I'm not sure exactly how that makes a difference. But what do you think of this story, Marcus?
Well, that is kind of interesting. Hey, but before we start with that, Ron, I am looking on the ZinoNation YouTube page. I was trying to bring up the live show, and I am not seeing it there. So
yeah, we're live because Parks and Tech. Hello, Parks and Tech. He says he's in here. Actually, Parks and Tech, if you're listening, are we all good? Say something in the chat. Say all good, or you guys loud and clear. But I think we're good.
So, Ron, you're on the ZinoNation page or the RC?
Oh, well, I'm on. What I'm on is the I'm on the YouTube page. So the version that a non-broadcaster would see. Gotcha.
Well, I just was looking for it so I could see the chat, and I'm not seeing it.
Texas, I only saw it from Facebook, and I guess he means the link.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, you only have one monitor in front of you.
Well, I've got my other monitor, but I was looking and by the way, Gorilla Man Garage just sent me a instant message. He says he can't find it. So.
Oh wow! So something went wrong. I can't imagine what I did wrong.
Which I wonder if that's why we're missing Al too, possibly. I'm going to go into the Facebook link too. Hang on here.
Okay. Sorry, folks. We're having a bit of a technical difficulties here. Maybe there's 2 links out there, and oh no, I got it. I figured it out. I made this unlisted.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know if I can live unlist. Okay, I'm going to go here and see if I can edit video. This is the broadcast we're on. This is the the consumer version here. Let's see here.
Yeah, I do see where it's unlisted there.
Okay,
so the only way you're going to get to it is through Facebook.
Okay, now it's public, and now I'm going to save it.
Yeah, so if you click on, I can see how that would work.
So now it should be public. Let me see if I can refresh this page here.
It is public now. I just saw that as well. So
okay. Sorry, guys.
Hey, that's part of the deal here, Ron. We're just we're a couple of drone flyers. We're not expert TV men.
Right. Yeah. I make no claims to be a webmaster of any kind. You're right.
Yeah. But anyway, we're good. We're good to go now. So so that's what counts.
Okay. Now I got to find. Now I could never. Now I can go back. I can never find the work my way back from the video editing thing to if YouTube would ever get some decent software.
Yeah, but anyway, let me answer your question. So when with regard to DJI making the commercial version of the Mavic, what do they call it? The Mavic
Enterprise.
Enterprise. Yeah, that totally makes sense because there's two things that I'm sure they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to reassure any government entities that it's a secure product, which I'm sure it is. And then also, you have to believe that they're working their way around those tariffs, which I think goes hand in hand with why we have not seen or they've delayed, that is to say, or postponed the Spark 2, because everything that I don't mean to get off on a tangent here, but I guess I am a little bit. Everything that we saw with that Spark 2, that you can't buy a Spark anymore from DJI. They're out of stock. And then they've been putting the Mavic Air on sale, pushing that out and getting rid of those as well. Not just DJI on their website, but at the retail level, retailers pushed them out. It tells me that they were getting ready to introduce a new drone, and the Spark 2, whether they call it the Spark 2 or not, whatever it is, that kind of makes sense. And the fact that they postponed it, I really suspect has to do with a price point that they were looking for and that they are unable to achieve with the uncertainty in the trade situation between the U.S. and China. And that's just my opinion and me kind of trying to figure it out. So I don't really know anything. I don't have any substantive facts to back that up. That's just me putting the puzzle pieces together.
No, there's a good thoughts, and they're probably the right ones. Yeah, we were talking off air. I mean, bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. is only a good thing, in my opinion, for whatever the reasons are. So I'm all for it. And again, this is, the DJI hasn't been caught spying on us. This is, just all, but it is possible. And I guess the more secure we are, the better. We talked off air about this before. I mean, it's why do they pick on drones? I mean, all these smartphones are made in China. Couldn't they all be reporting back to China too? Security cameras. I mean, there's millions of devices that have cameras on it. They're also connected to the internet. My GoPro Hero 7 has a camera on it, and it can connect to the internet, and it was made in China. I mean, couldn't this be spying just as well as my DJI drone? And this could actually be a better spy weapon because the DJI drone, you can't get it near airports or dams or anything secure. I could probably put this right outside the airport. I could walk this right through the middle of the airport and shoot every airplane with it, and film every airplane from the window, and nobody would say a thing to me.
So I think what the issue is, Ron, is what they're saying is because China is a totalitarian state. In other words, the government can do over there whatever they want. And if you're a Chinese company, they can come to you and ask you for information. And whether you want to give it to them or not, you have no choice. Their rule is their rule of law, and they can do whatever they want. As opposed to in this country, we are a country of laws and checks and balances. And a good example of that is when there was a shooting in California, and the federal government was trying to get into an iPhone, and Apple said, you know what? we're not going to give you the backdoor to an iPhone. That's just not what we do.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen in China. They would just say it's ours, and we're going to do it. So that's the concern.
Right. Well, let me actually even give more detail to that story, Marcus. Apple, the Apple didn't actually have a backdoor to the phone. They made the phone so secure they did not have a backdoor. But what the government wanted them to do was create a backdoor, and they said no. Our whole goal is privacy. Your data is your data, whatever. We can't even get to it, but the government wanted them. Oh no, you got to put a back door in, so we can spy on our own countrymen's data. And again, all your points are exactly right, Marcus. But again, well, this isn't a China drone, got a bad example here, but why is it just a drone, and why aren't they worried about this thing?
Well, like you said, even more so. How about our data pads that we all carry? I'm looking for my phone here. I don't know what oh yeah, here it is. Are these little portable computer data pads that we carry around that, by the way, have every bit of personal information about us. It has the GPS of every place you've ever been, everything you've ever done. So it is overblown in some respects, and in other respects not. Anyway, I suppose we could delve way too deep into that, but
right. And the camera's so good in this thing, it's as good as most of the high-end drones. And plus, like I said, like the time you were flying near the dam and the guy came up to the truck and asked you what you were doing, whatever, in the drone, you could have been filming this. You could have been filming this dam all day with his phone, and nobody would have said a word to you. And it could have been sent back to China,
or put a nice telephoto on this Canon M50. And by the way, I could zoom in way closer with that than I ever could with any drone or.
And we discussed this off air. That Canon connects to the internet.
And it does, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It connects to the internet just as much as the drones do. So again, why pick on drones or whatever? I mean, just because they can see higher doesn't mean they're getting any better information than a ground-based camera that's connected to the internet. So again, I understand all the privacy concerns, and I'm all for them, especially foreign countries not getting important information for whatever reason. Again, I'm all on board with that. But again, be on board with it with all the stuff out of China that has cameras and connects to the internet. Not just pick on one thing with a camera and an internet connection. And these things, they don't have internet connection. They have to be paired to a device that does have internet connection. To my knowledge, there's no drone out there that has a SIM card in and has a 4G chip in it that's constantly connected to the internet. I'm sure somebody's handmade one or whatever, but there's none on the rack at Best Buy.
Yeah. So, gosh, I'm just wondering what happened to Al here. I just looked at my Facebook page to see if he sent any messages or anything. That's
I'm checking Hangouts where I sent the link, and this is how we contacted Al when he was on show 1, and he hasn't even, I don't think he's even seen it. Yeah, he hasn't.
I don't know if he read it or not. I don't have a phone number or an email. I
don't have anything either. So the only way is the way he first contacted me through the Hangout apps. Unfortunately, folks, you may not get to hear the pearls of wisdom from Al tonight, but we're going to kind of maybe paraphrase what we're going to talk about with him anyways. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, we might as well start in with that.
Good.
You want me to start?
You go right ahead.
Well, so it's fresh in my mind because I just watched his video. And by the way, I saw Gorilla Man's comments in there too. So it looked like there were some sympathetic comments between GM and Al on that one, because it looked like a lot of people were giving Al a hard time over his comparison of the Hubsan Zino and the Fimi X8. Now, I thought it was a very fair and balanced comparison. Obviously, there's going to be a difference between those two drones. The Fimi is, no matter how you compare the price, I mean, I was thinking about, well, what's the list price for both of them, and what's the cheapest sale price I've seen for both of them, and it's right around $150 difference between the two. And and by that, the FIMI is about $150 more. So I think it would be reasonable to expect that it would have a bigger battery, a more sophisticated wireless controller, etc., so they could have a further range. But he took, and he acknowledged in the video that when he first took the Zino up, it was at 80% of battery, because evidently he had some trouble connecting to it or something that burned up some battery. But in any case, it still performed, I thought, great. I mean, it went out to its 1 kilometer limit, which it always does. Mine is always consistent as heck. I can get it out to between 900 and 980 meters before I lose contact with the drone, and it flips around and comes right back, which is exactly what happened to him. And I think he had about 8 minutes flight time with it, which, considering all the problems. And the other thing that you need to consider is when you're doing experiments like that, you're going full throttle out there. So you're burning up battery at a faster rate than you probably otherwise normally would. So anyway, that was the Zino, and I thought he had some really good footage with it. As typical of the Zino, they've refined that camera to the point that it takes some pretty good video now. And then he put the FIMI X8 SE in the air, and it did significantly better. I think he went out about 2.7 clicks with it, and then turned around and came back. And this, I believe was before the last update, so he had the usual errors. He had the drone overloaded error. The only thing I noticed when he had got that drone overloaded error, the only time I ever got that is when I got it just hauling tail in sport mode and doing about 40 miles an hour. And he wasn't going that fast, and he got that. So I'm not sure what that was about. But he got
the gale wind too.
He did. He got the gale warning, the gale wind warning, which they did indeed fix on the last update. They cured that. And the other thing that I noticed on his video, and he didn't have it as bad as you saw in my last test of it, but he still had a tilted horizon. His was fairly mild, but it was there nonetheless, and it was clearly visible. But the point of it is, bigger battery, flew further, came back, and so he just documented all of that. I think very straightforward. He didn't say one was better than the other. He just threw the facts out there, and there were a lot of commenters that really gave him some grief, which, I guess that's part of YouTube, I suppose. So anyway, that was kind of a synopsis. What did you think of it all, Ron?
Well, first of all, let me set the stage in case people haven't seen the video. And first of all, I linked Al Duran's YouTube channel in the show notes here. He's the top link, so go over to his channel. I think it's his most recent video. If it's not, it's just one back. And I mean, Marcus described all, but let me, the kind of the results, but let me set up. Okay, Al, he took the Zino and the X8 out to the I call it the river. And his goal was to do a range test and a flight time test. He took the Zino up first. Marcus says he went the roughly, 1,000 meters, did the return to home, came back, and he landed without much time on the battery because of starting 80%. Plus, it was windy that day. I don't know, in the video he probably says it, but it was windy. And then he took the the X8 out, and it went 3 or 4 times as far, and did the perfect return to home. Came back and still had 50% battery or something like that left. Again, you check the video out. So that was his. That was just that was his goal, and that was his test. And again, he flew over the river most of the time in what looked to be wind, and I forget which way he was facing the wind, coming or going. But at the end, he did his conclusions, and he just said straight out, well, the like Mark said, the X8, can go 3 or 4 times the distance, and it has significantly more battery life. And he just just stated the facts. It wasn't like opinion or down to Zino, but as we said, he took a lot of comments in the. He took a lot of rough comments, and thanks for everybody backing the little Zino. The little Zino has his fans. And again, it's no, like Mark says, no doubt these drones are in the same class. It's $150 price difference between them, even if they're on sale or regular price. And for that extra $150, you better get something. So that something is more distance and more battery life. Now the Zino is basically governed on the distance. It may be able to go further. I mean, it may go 2,000 meters, and the FimiNation's unbridled. They don't govern it. So that can be something to take in consideration too. But my thought, and I want to hear you, Marcus, even though again the X8 was clearly the superior drone in distance and battery life, when it came to the actual video, I'm not so sure the X8, even though and in that video I made a comment in that video. Under my comment, I can't remember the guy's name. He posted the camera specs on the Zino and the X8, and I reposted this to ZinoNation. And the X8 has a superior camera, a little bit bigger sensor, a better bit rate, like it has 100 bit rate or whatever. So mechanically, it's a better camera, but the results you see in the screen, and a lot of all cameras, a lot of the results is the software that processes this video. It's just as important as the hardware. The Zino looked just as good. Some may even say better. What do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, so I would say I think color-wise and detail-wise, I preferred the Zino video. So two comments there. You cannot argue with that guy's point when he displayed the specifications of the two cameras. There's no question that the FimiNation X8 has a superior camera, but the final result is what you see. And I gotta, we criticize Hubsan a lot, but you have to hand it to them. They have refined that camera down on the Zino to where it takes some pretty sharp video, and it does a really good job. Now let's hope that FimiNation does the same thing with the X8. And by the way, since you bring that up, I'll take it a step further. I did a video recently where I had the FimiNation and the Mavic 2 out at the Snake River, and you looked. When I first was editing it, I looked at that FimiNation video and I thought, wow, this looks really good. And then I loaded the Mavic video, and I was stunned at the difference. The Mavic video was that much better, yet it was clearer, brighter, sharper, better colors, everything than the FimiNation. So it's all just a matter of gradients. And of course, you would expect the Mavic to be better because it's 3 times more expensive. I mean, I don't think it's a hit against the FimiNation to say that the Mavic had better video. By God, it should be for that kind of money. And so anyway, I think it also, I understand Bassman Strikes sent me a message today that FimiNation has another update out. So we'll update that FimiNation. It's getting to be just like the Zino. Every time you turn around, there's another update. But it's kind of good because it means that they're concerned about improving their product. And so we'll load that one up. And if they improve that camera on the FimiNation as much as Hubsan has the Zino, they'll really have something. And I'll also add that if you look at the early videos coming out of the FimiNation, and Gorilla Man can talk about this, and there was a guy in Australia, I can't remember his name. He was the first guy I ever saw post a video from the FimiNation, and it definitely had some color problems.
Color tint,
and it just wasn't as sharp. And so they've improved that since then. So I think we could reasonably expect that they'll continue to improve it, and it'll get better as time goes on.
Hey, Marcus, how would you compare the gimbals, the 3-axis gimbals on both the quads?
Yeah, so there again, I think that there's that's where the cheaper quad has a better yeah. Gosh, pardon me, guys. Sorry about that. It just came. But the problem that I'm having with the Fimi, and it's really disappointing to me, is the tilted horizon on it, and it seems to be whenever you yaw the drone, it tilts the horizon one way or another. And if you leave it in a spot, eventually it comes back. But that's tough. You know, the reason we buy these drones is we're trying to get good videography with them. And I know that kind of stuff can be corrected in post-production. But you know what? I don't have to do that with the Zino. The only time you'll get a tilted horizon with the Zino is if you point the camera straight down and then you put it back up forward, you'll see a tilted horizon, but then it'll correct itself pretty quickly. So, yeah, I mean, I know Gorilla Man's had both of them too. I'd like to hear what he has to say about it. But my biggest problem with that Fimi right now, I actually am pretty damn happy with the drone other than that tilted horizon. And I see that as a big problem.
The chat room's reporting that Al just posted a new Fimi X8 video. Maybe that's why he couldn't make it. He's in the editing room.
Oh, that could be. Well, I hope he jumps in here.
Hey, let me run down. Can we take a break on this story and run down the chat room a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. First, the QC guy left a comment early. He said he have a great show. Be watching it later. Now, but that helps remind me, Marcus. The QC guy, he asked if he could drop a few links in here, and I posted them in the comments. It's links to both the Fimi A3, which we'll get to in a minute, and the Fimi X8. Both these links, are to, I believe, Banggood, and they're both at like the lowest price there is today, and both of them help Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. Welcome, Al.
Hey guys, apologies. I'm at the beach vacationing, and I forgot all about the ZinoNation.
Well, hey, listen, you just made the best excuse though that anybody could have. If you're on vacation, Al, nobody can blame you, and I mean nobody.
And I've been having a good time at Virginia Beach, man. It's really nice weather, so not to rub it in, but very nice. You guys did great, by the way.
Hey, so I don't know what Ron is seeing, but Al, I'm just seeing your chin on the video here. Your chest and your chin.
Oh, okay. Is this better?
Yeah, you're tilted back a little more is better. Yeah.
There you go.
That's better.
Your ears must be burning. We just talked about you for like a half hour. We talked over your video where you compared the Zino and the X8. You did the range test and the battery test.
Oh yeah. And I know Marcus. I think it was you that pointed out that the Zino started with 80% battery. Was that you, or was that a different Marcus?
Yeah, that might have been somebody else, but I can tell you, we just brought that up on the chat here. And that was because you had problems connecting. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that you guys have probably noticed that when I've been doing X8 testing, that the Zino X-Hubs app keeps popping up whenever you connect another device to the USB port. So what I normally do in my device, I actually is an Android device, and I go in there and force stop the app. And once I do that, it takes like 2 or 3 cycles of powering on and off the everything. So I have to turn off the aircraft and turn off the controller, and I finally get a connection.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's kind of like initializes the app all over again, the first time. And so it's made me lose some really good shots. You know, I was like flying around the river and the train was coming, and I'm like, come on, Zeno, hook up, you know, so I could get that, you know, really nice cinematic look with the river and the sun and the train coming, and I would miss it.
Well, let me add this. You just brought it up. I'm just going to say this in public. Nobody does better cinematic video with the Hubsan Zeno than you, Al.
Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you guys, man. Thank you, Marcus.
And I want to second that out, and I want to put in, you were getting cinematic videos before the camera was even that good on it.
And thank you again, Ron. You know, one of the things that I stepped on my toe or my thing pretty hard was that I was trying to do it in a way that we are used to doing it with the DJI products, you know, where we'd go in manual mode and we would change all our settings, right? We'd change our shutter speed and fly that way. And the first couple of months, I mean, I was getting some really good shots. But one of the guys, Tony, on the channel, he made a comment, and it makes it look like the old Zenith TV used to look like, where it was all like, you know, fuzzy, and you guys, and it was like, you know, a lot of kayakers, a lot of action going on, and I was tracking them just right, but the video was horrible. Kind of like, you know, if you have a real slow micro SD card in your bird, your video will be crap, right? Because it's dropping frames, it's not capturing all the data that is being pumped out to the SD card. It was like that. So once I figured out that, you know, with the Zeno, if you're doing movies, just leave it in automatic, and you have to put up with all the exposure changes, right? But that's kind of like the charm of the Zeno, I think.
Yeah, you just nailed it. So Ron and I have had that exact same conversation many times. That's part of the charm of the Zeno.
And you're exactly right. When the camera, whatever update it was that activated the camera settings, changed them only made the picture worse. It did improve them, but it has changed now. If you go back and play with the settings now, like I increased the sharpness, the settings actually work now, and they don't degrade the video.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think, you know, once they increased the bit rate, obviously increased the manual, you know, obviously more granularity to the video, right, or to the data stream. So then you can start dialing it in like we're used to dialing it in with you know, the DJI products. But you got to remember, when DJI came out, you know more than anybody, guys, that I mean, they had some horrible issues similar to it, right? Remember when the Mavic 2, Mavic Pro came out? I mean, it was, and the Phantom came out. It was hard.
It took them about a year to get the camera right on the Mavic 1 before they got all the issues ironed out. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Zeno when it first came out, but it definitely had some issues in the first, I'm going to say, 6 months of the year before they finally got the firmware correct on it.
Yeah, I know you've pointed that out numerous times on your channel, and you know, a lot of people don't. They expect these things to come out, you know, just perfect, right? And Mark, as you've said it, it's a $300 drone, man. You know what? For $300. I mean, I think this thing could fly as far as probably not as far as the X8 if they took the throttle, you know, the governor office distance, right?
We just said that before you came on. What we were saying, the range test, the you know, the Zeno is handicapped by the governor, and judging by how good the FPV signal on the Zeno is, you're right. I think it could probably go easily twice the distance, because that FPV is rock solid when it goes into return to home.
Yeah, I agreed, and I'm not sure why they decided to give it the 1 kilometer limit on it, but it is what it is. And, you know, 1 kilometer is actually pretty long range, right?
It is. How often do you actually, if you think about it, how often do you need to go farther than a kilometer? Not very often. I mean, if you're one of those guys that's chasing a cruise ship or something, of course. But
Yeah.
for most 90% of the videos that we do, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing, the drawback, versus the Mavic 2, right, is, instead of a shortwave signal, now we're using Wi-Fi, and it just doesn't have strength to punch through some of those, maybe some trees or something like that, right?
Right.
No question.
Right. But I mean, besides DJI,
yeah.
almost everybody else is doing Wi-Fi though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much so, right?
So I guess the big point to make here, Al, is that was a great comparison test, and I thought you did a very fair, just matter of fact. This is this one. This is this one. You weren't giving one of them an advantage over the other. You were just saying what they were, and it was really funny seeing the Zino fans come out of the woodwork and the Fimi fans come out of the woodwork, and they were all they were all offended.
They thought you jumped ship or whatever, and to the Fimi where you were just putting the facts out.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, we use the tool that we need for the job we got to do, right? As Marcus said, if you need to chase that boat that long distance, you're going to use your Mavic 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact not only you can get the distance, but you got the battery length to do it, right? So you can hit on out there. And so if I'm at the lake and I'm chasing, the wakeboarders and whatever is on the water, I can't do it with the Zino very well because I run out of range and I run out of battery.
Right.
And now with the X8, I think that gives us another option, right? And that's what the other thing I wanted to point out is now that we have the X8, this is really a good competitor to, I would think, probably go to Mavic Air, right?
Right.
Not only in the range, but in the battery life is even better. And I think it flies as fast as stable it is. Now, I think the camera is going to get tweaked a little bit more. And I did crash it the other night, and it was strange. I was reaching up to catch it, and I was by the river, and I was flying under 95, the bridge. And so there was a lot of, metal around me, and I went to catch it, and all of a sudden, I pulled my hand out of the way and ducked as it went flying by and hit like this bank right behind me. And I'll post it. And I'm looking at it, right? And the drone's looking at me, and it hit the bank, and one or maybe both back, arms folded back up, and the props were still rocking and rolling, just spinning mud. And I'm looking at it going, come on, man, you can turn off. And, but getting back on point, I think that X8 is, like Marcus said, man, is a good flyer. It gets it. And
it's fast, man. I mean, you saw that video that I did with it. The Mavic 2 is faster, but just barely.
Yeah. You know what I would love to do is get two flyers like us together in the field and say, you go, ready, set, go.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You just brought up a point. So one thing I noticed flying it just the other day was how fast it ascends too. And I didn't really test that. Man, when you want to get altitude in that thing, boy, you hit that upstick and wow, it's there in no time.
I know. Hey, have you guys, Marcus, you saw my comment and I didn't know what this drone overload thing is. I mean, when I was doing range tests, I had both sticks pushed as hard as I could, right? I was trying to get as much altitude and how much, downrange as I could. And then I got a message that pops up and said, drone overload. And I was like, not sure what that means.
Yeah, so
Obviously, we're pushing it.
yeah, I had the same issue in both my last 2 videos I made with it, and in fact, I purposely tested it on this last video. And you know, there are commenters that put a lot of stuff in there that said, I don't know, the ESCs are overloaded. Hey, I don't know how they don't know any more than you or me, Al, but clearly it's a warning that they're putting in there for some reason. So just like what you did, now when I see that, I just get off the throttle a little bit and it goes away. Now the difference between what you saw and I saw is the only time I've seen that was in sport mode. And I don't think you were in sport mode, were you?
No, I was not in sport mode. I was just in. I usually don't bother to do that at all because it's fast enough, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Ron, your video that you were testing on the Zino with the new firmware, that came out really sweet. I know that you had a dropout. What was that? You were getting a disconnects, right?
Right. At close range, like about 500 feet away.
That's unusual.
Yeah, and that's the first disconnect I've ever had with the Zino, and it was my usual field, and I've flown over the same spot before, so yeah. I think that was on the 1151, which was the one where a lot of people had disconnect issues. So that may have been it. Now I'm on 1152 now, and I haven't seen any disconnects now. So I'm just going to throw that off to that version of the software because I work near Wi-Fi, and usually, again, the Zeno's pretty good not getting Wi-Fi interference. I don't know if I ever made a video of it, but I have the Anafi here, and I was at the beach sometime in early May, and I flew them both in the same location, and I got this too close to the houses. I don't mean too close to the houses, but somewhat near them, and it was, you know, FPV was going out on me, was claiming interference. I took the Zeno and flew it in the same spot. It didn't get any interference at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I tested with 5.2 and I got a bunch of disconnects too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was in that range test for the 5.2, and I basically was, you know, testing the 5.2 disconnect, right? When you just let it rip as far as you go. Because, you know, with 5.0, the problem I had was it went out there, it disconnected, it just sat there. Right? Right? And you're like, I'm like talking about the mountains, the lake, and I'm like trying to entertain myself, you know, so I don't start panicking, you know. And I knew eventually it would come home if I turned the receiver off, right, or the controller off, but I didn't want to do that because a lot of times, you know, you get a disconnect like that. We want it to stay out there because you're trying to capture something. You're not just flying out there to fly out there. You're out there trying to.
You're out there for a reason. Yeah.
You're filming something, right? And on the 5.2, it got like 3 disconnects on the flight straight out, and it was over the river, so there wasn't any of that Wi-Fi bubble that you were running into, Ron, that you would normally run into, like you were talking about with the Anafi, you know, getting close to the houses where, you know, you're getting those Wi-Fi interference. This was over the river, and I tell you, I'm happy that everything worked out because that day, I mean, I was running it at 20 knots steady. I mean, 20 miles an hour steady, and that Zeno took it, man. And I was running a chance of losing that thing, but I let it rip anyway. And this, like Marcus said, the Zeno always comes home, man.
Hey, so I want to change the subject for just a second. So we have a guy in the chat, Parks and Tech, Josh, and he just put up a really great Paradanapi video where he got it stuck in a tree, and saved it. So
Oh man.
I posted that out on ZinoNation. Look up Josh Wesley Durick on ZinoNation there, and you'll see his video. It's one of those that if you're not biting your fingernails off when you watch it, I'll cut to the chase, and I don't think it'll hurt his feelings. But what happened was is that he was messing around trying to get it going, and he was throwing rocks up there, all kinds of things. And so I guess I need to set the picture. So right below it was, I don't know if it was a drain ditch or an irrigation ditch or something right below this tree, and then off to the side of it there was a bunch of vegetation. That Anafi fell, and there was enough of this weeds and vegetation and stuff that it broke its fall, but then it landed like right on the edge of this creek or ditch or whatever it was. But he was able to get it, and in the same video he was able to take off and fly it again. So anyway, I'm just telling you, it's worth your time to go look that video up.
Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, definitely. And I know you commented on that crash I had on my inline skates.
Oh yeah, geez, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just posted a 4-minute video of all the three I was wearing. There was 4 cameras. There was 4 videos that would capture the whole scene. So I had a hat cam, I had a chest cam, and then the X8 was following me, right? And so I put the whole thing together of that crash with all 4 different point of views. And it was about 4 minutes, and it might be a little too long, but I thought it was interesting to share, the whole perspective. What I'm really proud of is I normally don't curse ever, right? And usually when somebody falls, right, they usually drop the F-bomb or the S-bomb or some other bomb, right? and I'm, here I am crashing, and I left a lot of skin on the road, and I hit my shoulder, and then I'm laying there going, oh man, I hope I didn't break anything, right? And then I'm getting up going, oh no, look at the controller, look at my phone, right? So it's very similar. I can't wait to see that gentleman's Anafi video, but yeah, it's kind of like that, where you're kind of.
Yeah, I threw a link in the chat there, so anybody that wants to.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's worth seeing, that's for sure. And it was just a cool story because he's just like we all would do. He's cussing himself out. Why did I do that? But it had a happy ending, so it was pretty good.
Cool. Al, back to your video a little bit. The video we talked about the range test, the battery test. Well, my comment, or somebody posted a link, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he gave the camera specs for both of the cameras. And because I remarked about, I thought the Zino video was just as good as the X8, maybe even better. And it looks like the hardware, the camera mechanically is superior on the X8. It has a little bit bigger sensor size, and it has a faster bit rate. But what do you think? I thought the video was very comparable between them, quality.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to be a little subjective at a time, right? A lot of people like the Zino, especially if you put it in that, not the ordinary mode, the bright mode,
Right. Yeah, vivid or something. What do they call it?
Yeah, vivid. Yeah, I think it's something like that, right? Because it ends up saturating everything heavily, right? And so everybody likes that. And I get it because it differentiates that drone from all the other drones just with one touch, right? Where before you would have to go in there and mess with saturations, sliders, or the numbers or whatever. Like where you're describing the settings of that one gentleman that posted it with the X8. And I do think the X8 is a better camera. What I'm seeing is this. In the shadows, the Zino is black. In the X8, I see detail. So that tells me that sensor is getting much better granularity in those shadowy areas. And you put up, you know, the Mavic 2 Pro and it just blows everybody away, right? and of course, if you were to put up Phantom 4 Pro with that camera, then you know it's gonna top the Mavic 2 Pro because that one, you know, you could do the 60 frames a second. So when you are chasing that boat, you can break it down and post to 25% speed. It looks just as good as it is 660 frames a second, but now you got really good slow motion. That's the other thing too. I haven't had a chance to play with the frames per second on the X8, which has what does it go? 120 now?
Yeah, I believe so at 1080p. And doesn't it even do it at 2.7K? I believe.
Yeah, 2. Yeah.
Let me ask a question, gentlemen, for the FIMI X8. Are there ND filters available for the camera yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I've checked Amazon everywhere, and I've checked Banggood, and I haven't seen anything come out. We're kind of in the same dilemma we are with the Zino, right?
I keep begging Hobson for ND filters, but you know, no response.
Yeah, and that's you know, if you're in a professional business of making money with a drone, I mean, these drones are not going to.
Right.
In fact, you can't get your ND filters needed for the effects that you're looking for.
Right.
Yeah. If you're going to do that, you better be buying a Mavic. Hey, also, I got another question for you. So, as you know, my biggest gripe is the tilted horizon with the FIMI X8 SE, and I noticed even on your last video, it was tilted just a little bit. I think if you look at my last one, it was even worse, and I've noticed it when I yaw, it will tilt and then very slowly come back. I'm just curious what you're seeing.
Yeah, and I am seeing the same thing. So I'm trying to fly it so I don't jerk it around, right? And so the yaws are slight, and so before I make any abrupt moves, I am trying to back off from the throttle just a tad, and then I turn because of the fact that that's the problem that I'm seeing also. I mean, the Zino's the worst of them all, of the two. I'm still, even with 5.2, I've calibrated my gimbal, but I did get that's the very first camera available for that, because I received my Zino on December 10th. So now they have that square camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I can't remember. Yeah, mine's the square one, I think. But I've got a pretty good horizon on the Zino. I don't see it so much.
Yeah, so I think it has to do with the camera that I received, because I got the first version. Mine is the round camera. If you got the square camera, you got the second version.
I don't know. We're gonna look here real quick.
I don't want to misquote the QC guy, but I think Chris has said in one of his videos that he's taken them apart and the innards are exactly the same. That only the
housing.
That he said there's no difference. Like he could put the camera in the square or the round one. That's
okay. Cool.
But I don't want to. I think that's what he said. We'll have to go back and watch his video. What is it, Marcus? I can't.
Yeah, I got the square one.
Square, yeah.
Unfortunately, my Zino. I mean, I could. You know how you do the panorama mode on the Zino, which is not a picture, it's a video that spins around, right? And then you choose how fast it can spin around.
Yeah.
Well, if I choose anything more than like 10, 20% or whatever it is, It looks like it's going, mayday, mayday, going down, going down. You know, it's just tilted so much.
Oh, wow.
Well, when I always see the tilted horizon on the Zino is if you got the camera pointed straight down and then you tilt it up, the horizon is way off. But it takes it just a second and it straightens it out.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, Gorilla Man's asking, he said, could I ask what production month are your X8s?
What do you say?
What production months are your X8s? I don't
even know. How would I even find that out, GM? Is it on there somewhere? So hopefully, let me.
I know. I received mine in mid-June. So I've had it maybe 10 days.
Girl Man says it's on the sticker.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, I don't have it with. Oh yeah, I do have it with me. Let me check.
Where's the sticker? Is it the one under the battery?
I'll tell you as soon as Girl Man responds.
Oh yeah, here it is under the battery here. I'm gonna have to put on my other glasses to even see it.
Marcus has his good glasses on.
Yeah, we're gonna put on the heavy duty specs here.
Under the battery.
Yeah. 3/2019 for mine.
3/2019. Okay, so March. Gorilla Man, what's the production month of your X8?
All right, let me see what this says here. Production date. Oh yeah, it says 2019.03, so March 2019.
So ours is the same then. That's what mine is too, Al.
The Girl Man says his was January.
Okay. And I know that he had sent his back to get worked on.
Yeah, that's why he has "was" in capital letters, because he's going to get a brand new one.
Oh, good for him. Yeah.
Parks in Texas, I'm really interested in buying a FIMI X8 SE, but I know if I buy another drone, my wife is going to kill me. Her birthday is coming up. Maybe I will buy her the FIMI X8 and use it.
Hey, also, FSU grad is saying that he bought an Autel Evo and a Mavic Air. So yeah, that's great. Those are both freaking awesome drones.
Did he get that Mavic Air at that cheap $549 price of Best Buy?
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully hopefully you got a good bargain on it, FSU grad.
Yeah.
And Girl Man's X8 is halfway here.
It's on the slow.
So I've got another drone. Should I talk about that now, Ron?
Has a big announcement tonight, Al. He's ordered a new drone, and we're all anxiously awaiting what model is going to show up for review next.
Well, I don't know if it's a big announcement. I don't think I would classify it as a big.
Drum roll, please, for the special effects guy.
Yeah. So it is. So I just couldn't resist when Chris posted that link for the FIMI A3 for $229. I thought, well, I've got to do that. And then Brian at Trudeau Reviews, he keeps throwing up. I get jealous when I see all of his cool videos of it. So yeah, I've got a FIMI A3, and by the tracking number, I'll either have it tomorrow or the next day. So that's fun to mess around with. So
your X8 will have a buddy now.
It'll have a buddy. But so here's my thinking there. I think because it's a 1080p camera, and of course the Spark is, those two, I think it'll be fun to compare those two and compare the footage with both of them. But everything that you see so far with that FIMI A3 everybody really likes the footage that's coming off that camera. The biggest gripe of that drone is that you cannot see. It's got a built-in FPV screen, and I guess it's just not very good, and it's difficult to see. So I think a lot of the guys, the hot tip is they're using goggles to fly it. I don't have any goggles, but anyway, it'll be something to mess around with. And for $229, I couldn't resist. And I want to say that in conjunction with, I had been holding off because I was pretty excited about the Spark 2 and was saving my my shekels for that. But since that's been delayed, I went ahead and sprung for the A3. So
thank you, Marcus. Then the Spark 2 will get announced like I don't know, tomorrow now.
And I'll buy that too, Ron.
You know, the one I'm waiting for is the Autel Evo with a 1-inch sensor. Because if they put 4K and 60 frames a second, now we're running in a Phantom 4 Pro land, and it's foldable, and that's I think original Dobo. I can't remember the name of his channel. I think
that's it. Ken.
Yeah. I think the last video he posted was, I flew all the way to Seattle and didn't get to see the 1-inch sensor or something like that.
Right.
I didn't get a chance to see it yet, but I need to watch it.
Right. I mean, that is a good point, Al. But I mean, again, I'll tell they're late. I mean, they, when they announced the Evo, it should have had the 1-inch sensor, last year.
Yeah.
All they basically with the Evo, they put a drone out that was basically just like the Mavic Pro Classic with 60 frames per second. I mean, that's nice, but it wasn't enough of an upgrade to throw your Mavic Pro Classic out just to get 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those people. I'd rather have an ND filter than I would the 60 frames per second. It's really a slow motion. It's the first slow motion rate or whatever. It's one of those things. It's a gimmick. It's a frame rate you don't really use every day. I mean, I mostly just film everything at either 24 or sometimes 30 or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't pay. I mean, I'd love to have 60 if it was. I don't know if it was there, but I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't pay extra money or get rid of a good drone just because something had 60 frames per second on it.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I got a couple things in the comments here.
Go ahead.
Jet Martin is saying that he did get the Mavic Air at a good price, but he's returning it. So I'll be interested to see what he wants to get instead. And then he also says that you can use a Hudson sunshade with the A3. So that's interesting to know. Bermuda Bob, BC, and the FK Bob, Cindy, and the Foster Kids is got to work tomorrow, so he's hanging up on us. Have a good evening, Bob. And then let's see. Parks and Tech is saying that he really wants to have that Evo, but is not doesn't have the cash for that yet. So and FSU grad says he saved about a year so that he could get the Evo. So and then Greg Traver just got in the room here.
Hello, Greg.
Yeah. Oh, so Jet Martin is saying now that that the Mavic Air is just too loud. So that was why he's turning that back in.
You got those Master Air Screw props.
That's the thing. That's the hot tip, isn't
it? So Al, back to the Zino second. What have you played around with the new speed settings on it on 1152?
I have, and one of the things that I wanted to do was fly in close quarters somewhere with it, like in tripod mode, with the speed set as slow as possible, so I don't run it into anything. Because this Zino, man, is wild in close quarters, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it drifts a lot sometimes, and so it usually won't get flown like under bridges or through tight trees or anything like that.
Is that a challenge, Al?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Hey, Marcus, I flew the Anafi under the pier today. I haven't at the video yet, but I flew it under the pier down at the beach.
Oh, cool. Did you tilt the camera up?
I forgot to.
Ah, dang it.
Yeah, I know you probably concentrated too hard to.
I got to go back. I live at the beach now, Al. I got to go back tomorrow.
All right, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll do the camera up tomorrow. But I cut you off, Al. You were saying you wanted to slow the speeds down and fly it into close quarters.
Yeah. So I've used the Spark for those type of flights because it's smaller. So I usually fly them through a 3-foot opening, and then reveal like the pond. So I'll slide backwards, and all of a sudden, you're seeing this like real tight quarter tunnel, and all of a sudden, boom, the pond shows up. But it's not as wide as a river or anything, but it's still pretty dramatic. So maybe I was thinking about doing that to Zino. It's always really risky because you're all doing it over water. So you're gonna be drying it out for a while if you make a mistake.
The cool thing about the Zino is though that you can buy one for about $220 without a remote on eBay now. So if it happens, $220, shoot.
Yeah, when I first got 1152, I took speed settings. I think I put the the yaw on 30 and the horizontal and vertical on 50, and I flew it around this tiny little ballpark just across the street from me, and that thing was like on a rope. Like I just took it around the bases, and it was just so precise. Like it didn't move. Like I had like complete control of it. I thought I didn't even own the same drone anymore. When I slowed those speed settings down,
it really helped, didn't it? There's no question. That was just the greatest thing they could ever do for that drone.
Right. Well, just remember, guys, we were flying in sport mode all the time. We were flying in sport mode for taking off, landing. Imagine trying to fly, again, even if you fly the Mavic in sport mode all the time, like even had to land and do tight stuff or whatever. I mean, like you guys were saying before, the Mavic's so fast you don't even need to put it in sport mode. But again, it was like flying all the time in sport mode. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, let's put that into perspective for you. So the top speed of the Zino, and by the way, Al, I was watching your video too, and I saw the same thing when you were flying it out at range. It's, I think I had mine up to 18 miles an hour one time, and it probably had the wind at its back, but typically it's about 17 and a half miles an hour. Well, shoot, the Mavic will do about 45, and the X8 will do about 42 or 43. So, sport mode is a relative term. But to your point, Ron, it has more to do with the speed of the controls, the yaw, etc.
Real quick, Gorilla Man had to go past his bedtime. Good night, Gorilla Man. And Bill, the drone reviewer, stopped and say hello. And it's getting late. He has to hit the sack too. So that's an update from the chat room here. And FSU Grad 03 said he ordered the Master Air Screw props for his air, and it really did help.
Oh wow, good.
Hey,
here, Marcus has a new case to show us. Go ahead, Marcus.
So I don't know how many of you guys saw 51 Drones. Russ, he had not a contest, but a little deal that this Dackett company, I don't know if you can see that on there, they were giving away, not giving them away, they were selling them at a 99% discount on Amazon. So, and they were doing it for the first 100 people. So I went ahead and threw my name in there, and I got the discount code. So this is for the Mavic 2, and it cost me all of 21 cents.
Holy cow!
Yeah, and it is, man, it's a great case. Let me open it up here so you can see it. But let me get on my. I'm on the wrong page here. So anyway, so that's how everything fits in that thing, and I'm going to say not bad for 21 cents. And I don't know if Russ at 51 Drones would ever hear this, but gosh, thank you for bringing that to us. And a lot of people got a pretty good deal because of that.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, thank you, Russ. Marcus alerted me of the deal, but I never got the email. So as usual, I was too slow. But no, that's a great looking case. Though, Marcus, you had a lot of slots there for extra batteries that were empty.
But I'm just like you, Ron. So, Ron, you and I have had this talk, so I know where you're getting at. And I'll bet you, Al, I bet you're exactly the same way. Okay. I got so many damn drones. I don't need a bunch of batteries because I've always got 2 or 3 drones with me.
Yeah, I know. I got the Protected 450 backpack, and that's the biggest backpack that Low Pro makes. And it carries 3 drones. Right now, it's got the X8, the Zino, and the Mavic 2 Pro. I used to put the Spark in it too, but the Spark it just doesn't do it for me anymore. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have the batteries and the range, battery length, shall we say, and the range. It just doesn't do it for me, or the speed, right? And then you put it in sports mode, and then the camera just tilts too bad.
I got a tip for you, Al, and I told Marcus this, and a lot of people still don't know this. On the Spark, like you said, in sport mode, it goes too fast. The gimbal's not good. And on regular mode, it goes too slow. Here's what you do. Go into settings, turn obstacle avoidance off.
You told me
mode, and it flies decent,
huge difference.
Fast then.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me that, and I did that. It is a wonderful little bird, but now with these new other birds that you're getting, because the problem is you get out there, you start filming, and you're like, oh crap, I'm out of batteries. I got to get back,
Right. Right.
And now with the X8, I mean, the Zino is going to have that problem with me because why do I want to fly the Zino if I have to get back? And now I'm seeing my batteries are lasting maybe 16 minutes. They were doing much better at the beginning, but now they're 16 minutes is what I'm getting.
That's about what I get too.
Yeah.
Hey, so we got some stuff in the chat here, guys. So True Drone Reviews says, I have that case. They gave it to me for free. Gosh, Brian gets everything. And then Mike B, the Drone Ranger, says he got two of those cases for $8. That's pretty good, Mike. And then Greg Traver is speaking directly to you, Al. He says, love your content, Al. Rollerblade test was the best. He said, did you find your missing nut?
I have not. I went back and looked for it too. Like I said, I just posted that video when I commented you back. Was like, oh crap, I forgot all about ZinoNation, right? But I just posted it 20 minutes, no, about 30 minutes ago now. So it's on there for you guys to enjoy my wreck.
We'll definitely go look at that, or at least I know I will.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to ask you one thing, guys. Because you both had the X8, and you were talking about the Spark. The X8 does a lot of things better. But does the X8 is the control? Is the flight control any more precise than the Spark? Like I still feel that Spark, as far as the sticks and the precision of his flying, it is still better than a lot of the drones that I've got more recently.
I would say that they are comparable. Wouldn't you think, Al?
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems to me that nobody's beating DJI as far as that goes. So I'll make this comparison when people ask me, or this analogy when people ask me, okay, so military grade components have very tight tolerances, right? So I think what we're seeing is the DJI is making their products with really nice components. So when you let go of that stick, that thing just stops right there and stays there. It doesn't drift. And because, the chips and whatever they're using, they're all military grade, real tight spec components. So as you put all the components together, they're not drifting. They're locked solid, and their code. Oh my gosh, right? They've had so many years to develop their code, right? And it is it's unrivaled as far as my opinion is that nobody can beat them as far as that goes. But the X8 is definitely better than the Zino, and it's got some compass issues sometimes. I don't know. Have you seen your compass?
The compass error, or compass interfered, it says.
And then it decides to come back. It doesn't stay, and it just turns around and comes back.
Oh, I haven't had that happen.
Yeah, that happened to me. I had to do an upgrade out in the field by the river, and I was like, okay, I won't ignore you this time. I usually ignore them because I'd rather do it all at home and test at home instead of being out over the water or over a crazy place. And yeah, and it did that to me. But Ron, I don't see anybody challenging DJI as far as that goes, in my opinion. But the X8 is definitely really nice. It really is, and it will be in my backpack all the time now. It will definitely be in there.
Well, that's good to hear. In fact, I know Marcus got the A3 because of that great price, and it is really. But I think if I was going to spring for a Fimi, I would go for that X8, even though I know it's twice as much or whatever as the A3. But I think it has the value to it. Just like you said, the X8 is better than the Zino. Is it better for the money though? I guess is always our key question, because the Zino can be purchased for about $250 now. So, per the price, what you get for the price is a pretty good value, I would say.
Yeah, it is because you have the smart batteries, right? And so one of the other things that I'm finding is, all right, so you charge all your batteries, Marcus, you throw them all in Ron, you throw them all into your backpack, and then you go, okay, I have 3 batteries for the Zino, and I only have 2 for the Fimi, but I could just hit that button and know that my Fimis are charged, right?
Right.
And what do I do with the Zino? I don't know which one is doing well. And so you pop it in, you go through the trouble of firing it all up, right? And then all of a sudden you look at that. It says, oh, I got 80% battery, and then you fly it, and all of a sudden it starts dropping like a rock. And you go, you told me I had 80%, and I got you a half a mile out there,
Hey, Al,
So,
Al, how much are the X8 batteries?
$100 almost. They're like $90.
Okay. And
yeah.
I mean, not the advertised flight time, but what flight time are you getting from those batteries?
On the X8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only charged them probably maybe 5 to 8 times right now. I'm getting easy 21 to 25 minutes.
And what do you usually get with the Zino?
16 at max.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm saying I'm still getting like 18, 19 minutes with the Zino, but maybe
Ron,
yeah.
Al and I are at full throttle all the time.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not fighting as much wind. Well, my point where I'm going is the Zino's battery is only $35, so you can buy basically 3 batteries.
3 of them, yeah.
get more flight time for your money, even though you won't know. You won't know that it's charged. Hey, let me just pop back to the chat room a little bit. We have Cigar Nation Warriors in here, and he said to Al directly, Al, we love your skateboard crashes.
Oh no! Yeah, he must have seen it. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing that I put together because there's like 4 cameras, like I said. So it's I had fun trying to figure out how to present it, because how do you present 4 different camera point of views of the same thing, right?
Right.
Because and so I spliced and cut some, for the intro that made it really dramatic, and then the rest of them are all put together, and then I broke them out into separate incidents.
You had more cameras than a Hollywood movie going, Al. and Cigar Nation just gave you a 9.5 on the I guess on your fall.
Oh man, that thing hurt, man.
Hey,
Mark's saying he gets about 16 to 20 minutes flight time out of a Zino battery.
And Greg Trapper is saying 16 to 18, and Parks and Tech is saying 16 to 20. And I think
that's also said the best drone is still the JJRC Golden Egg, which is correct.
Boy, oh boy, that's hard to beat, man. I'm telling you, that Golden Egg is something.
What's the flight time on that thing, Marcus?
I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, maybe.
Hey, we should send out that Golden Egg drone if we ever see it again.
Yeah, Bill, the drone reviewer, is going to have to cut loose with that thing one of these days. I still see it sitting in the background when he does his live show.
And he lives in Virginia, right?
Tampa, Florida.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
A little bit south.
Yeah, a little bit.
He already says it's too hot down there to go outside after 10 a.m. Stay in Virginia, Al.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad here too, as you know.
I know you're out there, like I'm watching your videos in the winter. You already have leaves on the trees and you're green, and I'm still shoveling snow, and I'm only like 2 states north.
I know, and because you're up in Jersey, right? You're just north of.
But southern Jersey, I used to live just outside of Philadelphia, but now I moved basically straight across to the shore. I lived here anyways, but I mean, I just downsize. As you get older, you downsize.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, so Parks and Tech is saying that he ended up buying another battery for his Anafi, but that it's expensive, and I think that's correct. Because I think retail's like $129, but you got a pretty good deal on yours, didn't you, Ron?
Best Buy, you can get them for $99, either in store or on I think on eBay. The Best Buy the store. Anyway, Best Buy sells them all over the place for $99. And I had for buying the Mavic 2 Pro. I had the Best Buy rewards thing. I had so many points that I got the battery for just a couple dollars.
Yeah, I probably should pick up an extra Anafi battery. Have you got an Anafi, Al?
I do not. I was thinking about you guys when Marcus, I think you were posting that there was a special discount. I thought about it, pulling the trigger on it that day, and then I went back and looked at it, and all were sold out. And I was like, okay, that kind of answered my question.
They're the refurbs. But you guys are talking about speed. I told Marcus this in private the other day. I was out flying over the bay here in Margate City, New Jersey. Shameless plug for the town. I had this little thing which is smaller than this. I want to say about the size of Spark. I had up to 37 miles per hour over the bay.
Nice.
And it's like nothing to it, And it's even this little thing with its little flimsy propellers. It's great in the wind. It's just below DJI level in the wind, much better than anything else I have. It's a
very, very stable platform, that one. But you need to add that when it's in sport mode, you also have limited, the gimbal is limited. When
right. It's a 2-axis gimbal.
Yeah.
but you put it in filmic mode, and which is default to film mode, and the yaw's so slow on it that the 2-axis gimbal doesn't have any problem. I did discover a problem the other day. If you bring it straight down, it seems the gimbal, tilts a little in the straight down, which is kind of odd, but maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just some kind of random conditions that day.
Ron, I'm looking behind you. How about the rocket drone back there? How's that for stability?
Well, I need to. I still haven't given it a good test. It only test flew in the yard here for a few seconds. It still hasn't got out in the real field. But I don't know. Someday it could be making its way to the Meridian. Eventually, after a full review and test flight.
And that's another Brian Singleton deal, isn't it?
That's a True Drone. He was in here earlier. Brian, if you're not here now, thanks for stopping by. True Drone Reviewers, drone supplier. Yes, this is a it's made by the same company, JJRC, which is known for the fine drones, as Marcus can tell you. They made golden egg. This one features a 360-degree camera on it.
Oh, holy guacamole! Wow.
So yeah, it does some kind of spin move that records 360, which I haven't figured out how to do yet. But it's got folding propeller. Somehow they fold. Like, remember the golden egg? I couldn't get them. I either couldn't get them folded or unfolded or something. But and this looks like it would tilt right over because of the dumb design. But I actually did get it to land on the legs and not tip over.
Wow, nice. Hey, well, we're on the subject of True Drone Reviews. Did you see the care package that he sent to John Coopy?
No, I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
That's a great video. He just posted it. He's in his new house, and he opened that thing up, and Brian really sent him some cool stuff.
Cool. I got to watch that.
Yeah, that's going to keep him in doing drone reviews for a while.
Cigar Nation Warriors says Marcus has too many drones.
You know what, Cigar Nation Warriors? You're absolutely correct.
Guilty as charged.
To admit that.
Well, we're going to clear some memory. Well, Marcus, he may have another one coming his way soon.
Yeah. And if that Spark 2 ever gets introduced, that'll be another one yet.
Al, what do you think of the rumors of a Spark 2 coming?
I think that's fantastic news, I love this Spark because, I've crashed at full speed into a tree, and all I did was lost 2 LEDs, and of course 4 props, but nothing else. And and again, is one of those autonomous mode. I would put it in circle B mode. Had my daughter paddleboarding on the lake, and I did the circle B mode on her. And when I hit go, she had moved out of the square. And so I wasn't experienced enough to know to keep my finger on the abort button, it looks like a pause button.
Mm-hmm.
So it started circling just fine, but it was circling around. The point of circling was the water, so the whole lake was the circle. So it started circling just fine, and all of a sudden went, oh, I got it circle all the way around the lake, and it went full blast into the tree. And I was smart enough to activate Find My Drone.
Okay.
So when you activate Find My Drone, it will start blinking and beeping, right? And it gave me an idea where I was because it was heavily wooded area with a lot of prickers, and I was in bathing suit and flip-flops. And so I captured everything on my phone, went back in, got some heavy pants, and then I went back out to this little island where I wrecked with and anchored my boat, got on the island, but I had a chance to examine the picture. And so I was laying upside down, looking up, like a dead bird looking up, right? And I noticed that it landed next to a pine tree, and it was next to some walnut trees, and I had a bunch of saplings. But one of my daughter's other point of view was the direction of the sun, and then my wife pointed out this like orange flare thing, and as it turned out, it was a property line marker that somebody had like it slipped off. And so when I went looking for it, I saw these properties, and I was able to find it. So that was one thing I learned, was just to know all those. We definitely don't have Find My Drone mode in the Zino, right?
Right.
Do we have one on the X8? Haven't seen it.
Not that I know of.
So that's the other thing that DJI does real well, is that you can just hit that, Find My Drone, and it will start flashing its lights, and it will start beeping, and it gives you a good idea where it's at. I mean, obviously we captured, the GPS coordinates, which is a big deal. But if it's a heavily wooded area, just having those clues to help you was a big deal for me. It probably narrowed my search by an hour or two.
Yeah, I don't even. As far as I know, even Nafi doesn't have the Find My Drone, and this has, outside the DJI drones, this has a lot of tech in it. But that's a good.
That makes sense, because we have Find Our Phones, right? Because we're always replacing our phones.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when Apple invented that Find My Phone thing, however long ago, that was a great thing, and now everybody's copying it. Hey, Marcus, tell us your story. You had a little issue with your Spark in your recent trip to Las Vegas.
I did, and it was really odd. And in fact, I'm just getting ready to publish another video after we get off this show, that I tested the Spark again the other day and didn't have any problems. But when I was in Las Vegas, and to be fair, I was in a residential area, and I was down in a little swale. In other words, a little flood overflow little place for water to go. So I was like literally below ground level. But I got out there, and I lost connection, and the drone did not immediately go back into return to home like it normally would. And I got a bunch of, it would connect again for a second, and I got all kinds of weird messages on the screen. I'm trying to remember them all. One of them was, cannot do tracking mode. And then when I'd hit return to home, it would say command rejected, bunch of weird things. And the signal would go in and out. Every time I got signal, I would try and fly it a little closer to home in order to get a more solid signal. And I finally was able to get it in where I hit return to home, and it came back to me. But I did have a few anxious moments with it, and I can't figure out what happened there. I suspect it had to do with where I was at, that I was in because it's a Wi-Fi drone, there was a lot of stuff between me and the drone that I think affected it. But then on top of that, there was a bunch of construction work going on there, and who knows what kind of radios and so forth those guys were using that I think affected me getting in touch with that drone. Now, when I flew it again the other day here, I again was in a residential area. I was out at Heroes Park, where I do a lot of test flights, and I took I put it in sport mode, and I flew it out over 2,000 feet. Never lost connection. It was perfectly solid the whole time. So that was a really odd deal that happened there in Las Vegas. I don't know what that was about, but normally the Spark is pretty solid in that regard.
The Cigar Nation Warriors was asking what we think the Spark 2 will offer as far as improvements, and I think one will be an improved Wi-Fi connection for greater FPV connection and a little bit more distance. What do you think, Marcus or Al?
I agree. So there's rumors that they might have some form of OcuSync. And then the other thing that we'll probably see on that drone, no question, is probably a bigger battery that would put it somewhere, hopefully, within 18 minutes or so, which that, as just Al elaborated on earlier, the Spark really sorely needs. And then I'm quite sure we'll see a 3-axis gimbal. And I think that one of the reasons that it isn't, that they delayed the introduction of it, I guarantee you it has to do with price. They were trying to achieve, they know that that's going to be a price sensitive product. They were trying to achieve a certain price level, and I suspect that the tariffs probably affected that. I would think they're probably hoping for maybe a solution there, and then maybe they'll put the thing out. You never know. I mean, that's just me guessing.
Yeah, and the problem they have too is that they could cannibalize their sales of the Air, right? Because of the fact that we have the 3-axis gimbal, we have a larger battery, then why are we going to even mess with the Air if it's just basically the same thing, right?
Well, Al, I think the Air is done. They've had the Air on sale now for a while, and Target and a lot of other places were selling it for $550. I think the Air is on its way out.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Target cannibalized the Mavic Air by putting it on sale for $549 and blowing the inventory out.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean,
but even if they were to sell it for $500, I mean, that's a good deal for a product like that.
Yeah, Al makes a good point. Yeah, why even come out with a Mavic Air 2? Just permanently lower the Mavic Spark. So why come out with Spark 2? Just permanently lower the price of the Mavic Air and call it a day.
Yeah, but you know what? That wouldn't get guys like you and me, Ron, to buy a new drone, or Al.
That's right. It's like car companies. They may put out a new model of a car every year, and it may just have a few small new improvements, but it's a new car, so they got something to sell.
They need to put fins on it.
Yeah, fins. Yeah. Hey, I want to take care of a little bit of business before we start to wrap up here. I just want to mention that Bill the Drone Reviewer is on tomorrow night at his new time of 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I hear he may have a couple guests on that show that some of us know. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, so I've heard that he's going to have some really exciting guests on that show, and I don't know about you, Ron. I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss that. Must-see TV. And then coming up Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Drone Therapy featuring among Bill Thomas's show. John Coopy will be on there. Nemo will be on there. I think Brian will be back, and they may even have another guy called Ron on there. So it's going to be a good show also.
The superstar, Ron. You got three nights in a row, huh?
Man, yeah, it's it's an honor to be on all these shows. And then we, of course, with the Drone Seekers, Sean shows on hiatus for the summer, but he still pumps out the videos a couple times a week. In fact, go over there and check the Drone Seeker video competitions out. The videos are very good this month. All of them are deserving candidates. They're almost as good as Marcus's Royal Mail video from the first Drone Seekers competition contest.
I need another. I need to come out with another Royal Mail. In fact, I'm working on a script because it's definitely scripted. Another Royal Mail video. I've got a couple of things that I have ordered from those guys that have that Royal Mail stamp on there. So we're working on that right now. And there's a rumor that my wife Sarah is even involved in that.
Okay, Hollywood gossip, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Al, I know we already promoted your skateboard video, which just got released. I guess that's the hot video, so everybody's look at that. And I put the link to your YouTube channel in the show notes. So if anybody wants to see that video and they're not subscribed to Al, just go hit the link in the show notes, and it'll be the first video in the feed probably. Is there anything else you want to promote or make mention or shout outs to, Al?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about maybe doing a drone giveaway. As Marcus stated, he has too many drones, and I'd rather have somebody fly them. That's instead of just sitting there. The batteries are probably rotting and probably not going to work after a while. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. I don't know how to do it, so I'll probably reach out to one of you guys and see what you guys.
We've never done a giveaway per se, but I know Marcus has been involved in like the other side of a giveaway, and it can be kind of hairy, right, Marcus?
Well, I think it can. I mean, I'm just going by like what I saw Russ at 51 Drones go through with his deal. And I know that also that YouTube has some very specific rules about giveaways too. But just like you, Al, I've got a couple of things that I thought I might do, but it's something you got to research and think very carefully about it. I am certainly not an expert on it yet, but maybe when we go to Spin Up in October, we can talk to some of those guys, Ron, and go to school on them a little bit.
I do the Brian Singleton giveaway. I just send the drone to somebody or whatever. Then you don't have to worry about him clean. Now Sean of the Drone Secrets, he's got a wheel. That little wheel takes care of his problems, right?
For the T-shirts that he gives away, yeah. For the video of the month T-shirt, yeah.
And somebody in here, Cigar Nation Warrior, said I need a ZinoNation T-shirt. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, so do I. Where do you get it, Cigar Nation Warriors? Where are they available at?
Oh, and Cigar Nation Warrior says Al rocks, great videos with the Zino. So Al gets a shout out from one of our biggest fans, Cigar Nation Warriors, who I think mentioned earlier that he was thinking about getting a NAFI if he can get his VA disability approved. Cigar Nation Warriors is one of our wounded vets. I want to thank you for your service. Cigar Nation Warriors. So I hope you get approved on your disability, and we'll see you flying in NAFI soon.
That'd be awesome. That would be absolutely great. Yeah. Hey, there's a lot. Al, I was just thinking about some of your videos, and I'm all kidding aside, you're the best videographer I've seen with the Zino. You need to enter their contest. I was thinking about Hubson's contest where, what is it, a 3 or 4 minute video you put out and
oh yeah.
Yeah, you should do that because
they've had 2 already.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did enter it. In the channel, there's one there, the best of the Zino.
Oh, you have?
Oh yeah, check it out. It has to be under between 2 and 5 minutes. I entered it. And it took me 10 hours of editing to do the video.
Wow.
Okay. And it edited to the beat of the songs. And so there's probably, probably a 900 cuts in it. Easy. And check it out. Let me know what you guys think. It's called The Best of the Zino Cinematography. And it's got a date of 6/20/2019. They called it photography contest, and that's what I titled it. So it's The Best of the Zino Cinematography is what the title.
So you had to email that to them or email them a link, I suppose?
Yeah. So once you create your video, the instructions says to email them the link of your YouTube video. And in the title, you have to put in something like third Zino photography competition. So those were the instructions, and you had to turn them in before the on the 20th. It ran from like a whole month, I think it was. So I don't know. But anyway, the deadline was the 20th. They're announcing the winners on the 27th, if I remember right. Because, see, I thought I had until the 27th to make it. Because, you know, when you see the dates, it said 6/27, right? That's the number that stuck in my head. And then last weekend, I was like, oh, I guess I better get started on this. And then I go, oh my gosh, it's due tomorrow. And I spent 10 hours on 2 days of editing. And luckily I have my youngest daughter, she's in the medical side of stuff, but she's really good at art. And so I would bring her in and say, hey, you know what? Here's what I want to do. Would you proof it for me? And she would proof it for me. And she goes, okay. Now, the beat is perfect, but the song is changing. You got the same scene. So she was like my consultant, and it really gave me a very, very good understanding of, you know, how an artist thinks about not only the music, but how the music should coincide, or the video should coincide to the music.
Now, what do you edit on, Al? What software?
Yeah, so I use VSDC Pro, and the Pro version, the VSDC is free, but if you buy the Pro version upgrade, is $20. So I paid $20 for the video itself.
A lot cheaper than Premiere or Final Cut.
Unbelievable difference, right? Because I had Premiere, excuse me, and you know, that reoccurring licenses agreement just kills you, right? It's like $250 a year, $250 a year, $250 a year. So you're giving them a drone every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I decided to use VSDC Pro. I probably should put a video how to use it, because it's actually I've gotten pretty good at it, and it's easy to use and it's intuitive. Premiere has a really flat learning curve, and then you finally start getting it. You know, if you're looking to do a lot of transitions with zooms and timelines and all that, it gets pretty intense quickly. But it's just VSDC is really well worth using. And I've subscribed to their channel, and they're always giving you really nice, easy to follow video instructions. So that's the other nice thing about it, that they're always giving you videos, how to do transitions, how to do all this stuff. So you don't remember how to do things, you just watch their videos, and then you go, oh, that's what I forgot. That one little slider, or, you know, that one little timeline or whatever.
Al, is it Windows and Mac, or is it just
Windows? Yes. Yep. And the latest version, they prefer Windows 10, obviously, because Windows 7 is no longer going to be supported. So nobody's going to develop for 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything's going to be developed for 10 and beyond. And Macs, well, is an Intel chip in it. So just overhead in it, you know, it's not like the Power PC chip that they used to run before, right? So now Macs is basically, you can run Windows on a Mac if you want. You know, you just pull the disk out and put a new one in and load Windows Microsoft on it.
Their software programs allow you to run Windows and Mac at the same time on a Mac.
Yep, and that's all Intel.
Hey, Al, you got comments in the chat room. Greg Pittman says your video rocks. The one you made for Hubson and Cigar Nation Wars says the best of Zino video was fab. Parks of Texas, Al, that's a great video. Hope you win. Greg Pittman says he thinks she'll win. So you got support here in the ZinoNation chat room, that's for sure.
Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate it. Like I said, I put like 10 hours of editing in that thing, and it was a lot of fun. It took a long time because I had so many videos to go through. You know, you're looking at since December, but like I discussed earlier, those first 2 months, the videos quality was horrible for me because I was trying to do it all in manual mode instead of automatic, and it just ruined all my shots, which I thought I was trying to create like I did with the DJI product. So that was my mistake. But thanks again, guys. Appreciate the support.
Hey, before we wrap up, Ron, I think we need to hit Al up and see if we can get him to come to Spin Up in Austin, Texas in October.
Are you aware of Spin Up?
Yeah, I would, and that's who sponsors that's Ready Set Drone.
Yeah. Ready Set Drone.
Yeah, that would be awesome. As a matter of fact, I work for Dell, so I'm always in Round Rock. So it's right.
Oh wow! Well, the tickets go up every month or 2 months. So the tickets are as cheap as they're ever going to be right now. I believe it's $125. Is that correct, Marcus?
125 or 145, something like that. But but they go up next month.
But July they'll jump up like maybe $50 or something like that. So if anybody's thinking about going, get your ticket in June. And also there's 2 hotels that are close by. Marcus says one hotel is just across the street. It's being held like at a Boy Scout like campgrounds, and they have like a little lake there to fly over. There you go, Al. You got like maybe a little river, a little lake. You'll feel like you're just home in Virginia.
But the Spring Hill Suites is right next door to it. So
yeah, well, thanks for the invite. I think I'll definitely consider. So do you go to Ready Set Drone's webpage or they have a Spin Up webpage?
You know what? It's a link, and I'll try to throw the link in the show notes here, which I didn't do, but I will try to get it in here on post here. I think it's through a site called eBright. Yeah,
Eventbrite. So give me just a second here. I'm going to go to the website. And I'm gonna put the link in the chat if I can find it here. Spin Up. I know I got it here someplace.
I'll just go back and watch the replay of this and chat.
Okay, so I have got the link here. Give me just a second.
I'll tell you what. I'll grab his link he's putting here, and I'll throw it in the show notes. So if you don't want to sit through the whole show again and have it pop up in the chat, it'll just be in the notes. But anyhow, maybe Marcus, maybe we should get some ZinoNation T-shirts ready for the event. I know you could buy the Spin Up T-shirt for $10. Maybe we can get a special ZinoNation T-shirts going.
Well, now that's true, but Ron, with your ticket you get a free T-shirt. So.
Oh, I thought you didn't pay $10.
No, well, that's if you wanted an extra one.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So that's why you wanted to know your T-shirt size, I believe. I thought it said I could. Well, heck, I got the website up. What does it say? Just say, oh yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't say right here. So I don't know, but I thought I said when I bought the ticket. Hang on here, we're gonna get now. Let's see. So let me give you the prices. So it's $125 May and June. Goes up to 150 July, August, and 175 in September, October. So, if that helps.
So, what is the $125 entitles you? Obviously, to get into the show, and
I think it's a lunch.
Yeah, is it just it's snacks and lunch, and then there's going to be a number of speakers there. And I think they have a portion of it where everybody, you bring a drone with you, and we all try and crash into each other or something. I'm not sure. I'm bringing the Zino.
I'm bringing the JJRC.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm bringing my Wi-Fi jammer.
Yeah. I think Bill H is going to be there too. Bill, the drone reviewer.
FSU grad says, "Are you guys going?" Yep, Marcus and I are definitely.
Oh yeah, FSU grad said he's going to be there, didn't he? Yeah.
So stay at the same hotel we are, FSU grad.
And then I think Bill Thomas was talking about going too, wasn't he?
Right. He's having a little problems getting there from Seattle, but I think he's still working on it.
Yeah, and if I can get there from Boise, he ought to be able to get there from Seattle. Holy cow!
Well, apparently it's tougher or whatever, you know. But
Well, I used to live in Seattle, and there was almost no place you couldn't fly direct out of SeaTac. Almost none.
I think he's flying out of that. Remember, he's in some other city, like he's
in Everett, but it's about 20 miles north. I mean, yeah. Anyway.
Okay, well, listen, guys, we've gone on almost 2 hours here. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, and Al's got to get his sleep. He's got a tough day at the beach tomorrow. Hey, Al, how was the weather at Virginia Beach today?
Oh my gosh, it's been unbelievably nice, and I've been dying to fly a drone, but Virginia Beach is surrounded by all these military bases. So
yeah. We don't.
I mean, if you could get away with it. I don't know. The X8, it probably can get away with it, but the Mavic 2. Nah.
Well, just get an app like AirMap, and you can usually find a hole. Like at the Jersey Shore here, there's a lot of no-flies. But if I study that map, I can always drive within 5-10 miles and find a hole in the no-fly zones and just fly there.
Yeah, and of course, being on the East Coast, getting that sunrise over the water would be awesome, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't do it now because you have to get up at like 5:30. But when the fall comes around, all you have to do is get up at like just 6:45, and you get a nice one. So I'll be getting my sunrises in September. Again, it's too early now. You got to get 5:30.
What the heck are you guys talking about? I'm on the West Coast. The sun sets in the water. It doesn't rise.
Well, when I go on vacation to the Caribbean Island in the winter, Marcus, I can get up in the morning, get the sun, over the water, and then I could drive to the other side of the island night and get it going down. And that drive has a 10-15 minute difference in the drive. So that's how you get the best of both worlds.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in Florida, you could do it the real one, right?
Well, Sorry, Al, I didn't cut you off.
Oh, so sorry. Yeah, no. When I go to Orlando, man, I'll take off to Cocoa Beach, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the evening, I'll turn around and go over to Tampa Bay, and get, like you said, 2 sunsets.
Yeah.
And sunrise, sunset. Sorry.
Yep. All right. Well, Al, we want to thank you very much for coming on tonight. We loved your video. We want to talk about it. Want to get your thoughts on everything, and we want to have you back. Every so often, we want you to come back once a month or whatever. Just whenever you want to come on, just contact us, and we'll set the next available date up. Marcus, do you have any closing thoughts or on the night or?
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered a lot of good territory tonight, and it was really fun talking about that video, Al, because there was a lot going on there, and it's interesting to me, and I think obviously a lot of other people. I see you had over 5,000 views, so that was a great video, and I look forward to watching your other both of your other videos, the one on your skates, and then the cinegraphic one for the contest. But I guess that's about it. Let's all go fly tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
I forgot to mention one thing on the way out the door. I loved when Al showed the hot swapping of the batteries for the Zino.
I don't know if you saw that, Al. I gave you credit on my video where I did the hot swap. I said, I heard on the video, I said, this is what Al Duran does, and I did the hot swap.
Hey, fist bump, man. Boom.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to thank everybody in the chat room tonight. We had a good group here. We had a lot of our regulars. We kind of shouted everybody out already, but I did see Coast to Coast Drones was in here earlier. I think he's gone now, but want to thank him. And again, it's a great group of you guys in here. There's a lot of interest about getting T-shirts here. So Marcus and I guess are going to have to work on some T-shirts here. Marcus probably has design skills that I don't know about. So anyways, I want to say good night to everybody in the chat. and Marcus and Al for being here. And Al, you go back to enjoying the rest of your week here at Virginia Beach, and we'll see you in an upcoming show here real soon. Looking forward to more videos. Good night, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.